Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. I yelled at my mom that I hate Harry Potter and to let me live my own life. After that, am I the jerk for pressuring my wife to go to my company Christmas party and calling her selfish for refusing? And after that, my parents tried to cancel my wedding with my fiance while we were celebrating Christmas. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen has to watch Harry Potter. Sign me up! Expelliarmus! So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. I yelled at my mom that I hate Harry Potter and to let me live my own life. As my title suggests, my mom is a huge Harry Potter nut. She and my dad actually met in a Harry Potter IRC, like Discord but for old people, in the early 2000s, got married and had kids, and from day one decided to embarrass us for life by naming us after some Harry Potter and Star Wars characters. It's honestly been horrible. I have a stupid name, and since we were little, my parents have forced stuff like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel movies, etc. down our throats. Everything is about dragons and magic and blah blah blah. I'm so sick of it. Every birthday, every holiday, everything is just organized around fandom. So just like every Christmas, the days leading up to Christmas, we have to sit down every night and watch Harry Potter movies. It's so boring. I can usually get away with knitting or drawing on my iPad during this, but this year my mom was like, let's just have a technology and distraction-free night every night. I arranged to go over to my friend Missy's house instead for like 2 nights. Missy's family is normal and likes things a normal amount. My mom got really mad and started talking about how it's a family tradition and how I'm basically rejecting her, and went on her whole thing about how you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Harry Potter. I finally had it and just yelled, nobody cares that you were a big name in the Harry Potter fan club. I don't like Harry Potter. I don't like Star Wars. I hate Marvel movies. They're all so boring. Please just let me have my own interests. I couldn't help it. I started crying because I was just so frustrated because everything always has to be Harry Potter this and Star Wars that. And now that we're all older, they started doing Game of Thrones. Everything is centered around some kind of movie or TV show or book series. Just once, I want my family to band around something that doesn't have to do with media or these nerdy things. We live in Utah, where we have like 5 national parks, and even though I ask every year for my birthday, I've never been to Arches. Well, my sister called me saying that my mom was angry and to just come home and to stop with the theatrics. I told her I'm sick of having all this old nerd stuff crammed down my throat, and just once I want to have a normal time watching normal Christmas movies and not having to pause for lightsaber battles. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. And your post is a great warning for all those people still thinking about naming their kid Anakin or Khaleesi. You're allowed to have your own interests, and your parents aren't making life easier by forcing things they like on you. Not the jerk. Your reaction makes sense. It's 100% understandable. Extreme role players like this can be just as toxic as parents that micromanage their kids. If you feel like you're not allowed to have your own interests or hobbies or alone time, you should be able to say so. I happen to be extremely nerdy. My mom tried to force me to become a dancer. I sucked. Not kidding, I really sucked. Couldn't even do the splits, but she pressured me to go until the teacher stepped in and told her how miserable I was. She spent thousands each year on costumes, gas, hair, makeup. We spent endless hours traveling in hot buses for competitions. I literally had to stop at age 12 because I physically could not do what the other dancers could. I wasn't flexible, thank God, and above all, I wasn't interested. I felt so guilty because so many girls in my class at school loved dancing. They would have loved to have a mom that was willing to spend big bucks to fly them to cheer competition, ballet, tap, hip-hop, skating, but it just wasn't for me. I was tired and moody 24/7. I can't even begin to describe how depressed it made me. I wanted to read manga. I did not want to spend 10 hours a week in 2 different dance studios. I didn't understand why my mom couldn't see that. Still don't. I completely understand. Your parents are not providing an inclusive environment, and it's not fair. I think you should try to sit them down and have a serious conversation about how you feel. Don't say you hate them. Say you want to share your hobbies with them. Parents should not expect their kids to be clones of them. Not the jerk. The sentence, Missy's family likes things a normal amount, really jumped out to me. It's a shame that in their obsession and absorption in their fandom, they've really ruined some cool books and movies and stuff for you and your siblings. Lots of people enjoy these things without making them their whole life. Also, I'm being petty here, but watching movies is not a technology-free night. Play a board game or something. OP. But that's the thing. My siblings are all okay with all of it because they love all that stuff. I'm the odd one out, and they didn't ruin them all for me. I didn't like any of it to begin with. Like, they aren't cool to me. They're just boring snooze fests. Like, whoop-de-doo, I'm the chosen one. But I'm a sad little orphan boy with a charming cast of characters. Am I talking about Harry Potter or Star Wars? Who knows? They're both the exact same story. I'm going to politely and respectfully ask each of you to stop thinking you're going to be the first to try to explain the hero's journey to me. Every other person already rushed to the front of the line to do it first. Okay, your parents are the jerks for forcing their hobbies on you, but they are not the same exact story, and that is a hill I'm willing to die on. OP. This is such a good example of what they do. They'll be all, time for the Chamber of Secrets, and I'm like, no, I don't want to watch Harry Potter punch the snake again. And they're like, but he didn't punch the snake, he XYZ. And it's like, wow, same thing. Who cares? It's a movie. Everyone sucks here. Your parents should definitely understand that you are old enough to have interests separate from their own, but you are absolutely a jerk about it. I can't believe it's taken me this long to find this comment. OP is a huge jerk. They give me super edgy, unique, and different vibes. Forget the mainstream type of person. I'd love to have parents right now who share their interests with me. Sounds like OP doesn't at all even attempt to share interests with them because they're an edgy, bratty teenager. They're going to miss this when their parents are gone. Everyone sucks here. Parents shouldn't give kids stupid names and should let them develop their own interests. You should chill out talking smack about nerds and nerd stuff. You're completely right that wanting to be your own person is fine, but it isn't cool to crap all over someone else's interests either. Also, please recognize that at least some of this is overdramatic teenage angst. I would know. I had my angst back on IRC because I'm old. And that tons of kids wish they had a family that wanted to do stuff together. Lightsaber fights may not be your thing, but if that's their biggest sin, try to find a way to enjoy time with your family around the holiday. You'll look back on these memories with more fondness than you think right now. Have you ever calmly talked to them about this? Like, have you set them down and told them you have your own interests and you're just not into the same things they are? And maybe it seems like you were before because you were little, but now that you've grown to like your own stuff and you have your own hobbies. I don't have kids yet, but my husband and I are very into Disney and Harry Potter. If we had a boy, his name would be James, not Albus or something like that. We wouldn't try to force them to love the same stuff, but until they matured and had their own interests, things would kind of seem that way, wouldn't it? Disney-themed bedroom, Harry Potter birthday, etc. If the kids sat us down and said, listen, I get that you like all that stuff, but it just doesn't interest me, at least not the same level as you. I like this other stuff. I like outdoors and hiking. Tough, but we'd deal with it. And I want to join a sports team. Then OMG, things would do a 180 and we'd be going out to sports stores and checking out some hiking gear, and I'd learn which bug spray is best, and we'd make sure to get them into the team they want, etc. However, if everything seems like it's sunshine and rainbows, then suddenly 12-year-old James goes absolutely crazy, yelling at us for liking these things, shoving this stuff down his throat when we thought we were just including him in our lives, and then stormed out, leaving us with that super nasty aftertaste. I'd be more than a little hurt. If there was a calm and mature conversation before this, then not the jerk. If there was no indication that you were upset, and the first they heard about it was, your interests suck and they're so boring and no one cares, then you're the jerk, and you need to learn to voice your concerns and emotions better. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her parents? Please let us know. I'm so thankful my dad watched football and my mom watched cooking shows. Am I the jerk for pressuring my wife to go to my company Christmas party and calling her selfish for refusing? I work in a job where socializing and networking is very important. I make good money as of right now, but have a lot of ambition to rise higher in my current company. My wife stays home with our 2 kids, who are 2 and 4. The company is owned by Eva, who my wife really struggles to be around. Eva inherited the company from her dad and is very princessy and spoiled, and I get why my wife doesn't like her. I actually do like her, but it is an acquired taste. The other lady my wife doesn't like is Claire, the CEO's wife. Due to my position, she had to entertain Claire a couple times over the summer and hated it. She said she is annoying, spoiled, and setting women back. We also had to attend Eva's birthday party a couple months ago, and my wife told me after the fact how uncomfortable it made her. She feels like it's a fashion show, and she can't compete with the other women, and she feels like Eva and Claire are laughing at her, but does not have specific examples. Honestly, Eva is gorgeous. Claire is not really my type, but I hear men around the office drooling over her. I don't know if my wife feels insecure, so I try to boost her confidence. She feels that Eva doesn't like her and that she doesn't fit in with the other wives, but again, doesn't have any examples. Saturday was the company Christmas party, and she really didn't want to go due to not having a cocktail dress, but I told her how important it was. When we got there, she whispered to me that Eva looked ridiculous, so I knew it wasn't going to be a great night. When we left the party, I could tell that my wife was fuming. She said that Eva made a joke about her being vanilla. I believe her because Eva blurts out some weird stuff. Honestly, I think Eva got that from the guys at work, but obviously she should not have said that. She also said that Claire mom-shamed her for not having a nanny and implied we should prioritize date night over our kids. She admitted that she didn't think Claire meant that maliciously and that they were just talking about life. I know Claire's husband pretty well, and he is pretty old-fashioned, and his wife comes way before his kids. Not really our thing, but I don't think Claire was trying to be mean. I validated that Eva and Claire should be more careful about what they say and thanked my wife for sucking it up for the night. She said that was the last work social event she would be attending. I said I know she hates them, but it is very important to my career. The people at the executive level all have spouses who fit in very well and socialize. She said she didn't care and she would no longer be making herself uncomfortable. I ended up snapping at her that she was being selfish and somewhat childish. I know it isn't fun, but lots of things in life aren't fun, and this is the nature of my job. She was very upset and said I was invalidating her feelings, though I don't see it that way, because I agreed that neither of them should have said what they said. You're the jerk. You're the one who's being selfish here. The woman you describe as gorgeous said something completely inappropriate to your wife, and you're planning to subject her to that again? You are invalidating her feelings. The women you work with sound shallow and mean, and your wife doesn't need to be around them anymore. Out of curiosity, how would you have reacted had a male boss or boss's spouse made the same comment to your wife? OP, most certainly you're the jerk. If your career depends that much on your wife suffering, then find a new company. But sounds like you're insecure about not having a trophy at the events. Not only that, but also the fact that OP himself said his partner didn't want to go because she did not have a cocktail dress. Well, maybe if you take more care of her and her needs for these events, cosmetic appointments, nails, hair, dresses, shoes, she would be happier to participate. OP says this is how business works and that you need a spouse that blends in. Well, he's not helping at all. He is set for failure at this point. P.S. All this in addition to generally being a jerk in the situation for disrespecting her and ignoring her feelings. You're the jerk on so many levels. Your wife is your wife. She isn't the first lady. If you enjoy your toxic workplace, go nuts. But it's not her job, and she doesn't have to entertain your coworkers or go to parties with them. You also claim your wife can't give examples of how crappy these women are to her, but she just gave you 2 from one night. Also, am I reading right that Eva made that comment because you've been telling guys at work that your wife is vanilla? If so, I hope she files for divorce immediately. Not the jerk. Sounds like it's time to trade her in for someone who supports you and believes in your vision. I'm retired now and have made my millions, but during my career, I had to find new partners several times. It's just part of becoming a truly successful man. You don't finish the game with the same people you started with. Good luck. My parents tried to cancel the wedding with my fiance while we were celebrating Christmas. Strap in because this is a wild ride. I'm 28, male. My fiance and my family have always been a bit rocky from when we first started dating because I came from an upper class and she didn't. That doesn't matter to me, of course. I'm engaged and over the moon in love with this woman. Anywho, we're planning on having the wedding next year. Just finished our first semester in film school and got approved for an internship for this summer. We moved out of state for school and have been there for about 2 years. During that time, we have had some money troubles trying to make it on our own. So we were heading back down to see our family for the holidays and we had made a point to set up a dinner so our dads could meet with us to talk about the wedding and later on come up with a budget to get us out of some debt we accrued trying to get our ducks in a row before we get married. It sounds pretty straightforward. So we go into town and go to dinner. My dad, my fiance's dad, my mother's fiance, and me and my fiance are all there. Her dad and my fiance and I were expecting a conversation about a wedding budget. First thing out of my parents' mouths is that we should cancel the wedding altogether. Keep in mind, this is a full year from now after we are done with school and in our new jobs. They want the wedding called off to focus on us being more responsible with our money, and they haven't even looked over our budget yet, so they don't even know the bills we have to pay. Her dad, who had already paid for the venue, was completely taken aback by all of this and is hearing it from people he has never met before. My fiance and I immediately got upset because we had planned to come down to see the venue, thinking we could all go together after getting the money sorted out. Then my dad said in addition to canceling the wedding, we should give up on school. He never approved of it from the get-go and moved back in with him. My mom chimed in, saying that if we were having money troubles and needed their help, we weren't really living on our own at all, and to cut back on costs, we should sell our pets. Now my fiance has some issues when it comes to controlling her feelings. She basically went off on my parents, saying how it's not right for them to do this to us, and how it's wrong for my dad to put me down all the time in regards to school, which I completely agree with. My dad immediately went on a rant saying how disrespectful we are being, even though he started it all by saying we should cancel the wedding. He already agreed to pay for parts of the wedding before all of this. The only thing we asked him to do was cover the catering for 70 people we invited after he said he wanted to pitch in. At dinner, he said he wasn't going to throw $20,000 out the window. We only asked my dad for $3,000 after he said he wanted to contribute. He's a successful surgeon, so for him, $3,000 isn't all that much. Her dad was contributing $5,000 and we didn't even ask him to do anything. At this point, dinner was a flop. Both my parents just straight up left. I thought things would be cool, but it gets worse. The next day, after meeting with my mom and exchanging presents, acting like dinner never happened, which was odd, my dad called. He canceled Christmas at our house, said he wanted to grab coffee, just me and him. I thought he wanted to exchange presents and talk things out. I thought to myself, alright, he was upset, and he's had time to cool off. Now he wants to go over the details. So I asked him if I could bring my fiance's dad so they could have a do-over. He said no. I asked him if I could bring a general budget of our finances so we could go over it and I could get some advice man to man. He said no. So he pulls up in his Porsche to come pick me up from my fiance's dad's house. Doesn't even get out to say hello. I get in the car and instead of driving out to get coffee, we drive to my mom's house. Okay, so now it was both my parents, no big deal. I go in and it's my entire family. They set up an intervention to get me to leave my fiance in another state. They said I can stay with them. They can drain all the bank accounts I have with her and I could start over. They accused me of stealing cash from their house. They said she was horrible. They said I could find someone better back home. They wanted me to walk away from everything we were trying to accomplish. I could quit school there and go into a more successful occupation. I could go back to my old job, which actually pays less than what I'm making now, and start classes for an online bachelor's degree instead of going to trade school. I said no. They said they're cutting me off as their son and are not coming to the wedding. I said fine, I'm heading back home. Her dad offered to help us with the whole wedding and our money struggles. Update: we made it back home. A few things to mention. This isn't the first time they've done things like this. More stories to come. Our parents came to us and offered to help pay. We didn't just ask for money. They offered it after the engagement and wanted to help us with our money. The debt is partly our fault. Granted, we got our financial info stolen, got into a lawsuit with the bank for a breach of contract, had expensive emergency medical expenses, and tried to get loans to help with it all. Never ever get a loan unless you know with complete certainty you can pay it back. A while back, my fiance did leave her job at the post office because of unsafe working conditions. Anyone who works there or has worked there can probably relate to that in some way. Some of you have done some digging and have seen the situation I was in. It's improved slightly since then, and they gave me a $2 raise at work. Thank you all for your kind words and support. It means more than you will ever know. Reply: if it wasn't for Dad already having paid for the venue, I would say you should just elope. Asking parents for help setting up a budget isn't asking them to pay for it, although I doubt your parents recognize the distinction. For you and your fiance's sanity, Don't accept any funds from your family because they'll use it as an excuse to force their choices on you. Best of luck and congratulations on your engagement. Am I the jerk for banning my husband from the main bathroom in the morning? So my husband and I have been married for 5 years now. We're both in our mid-30s. He got a new job a month ago and is working from home full-time now. I work as a hairdresser. Before my husband got his new job, he got up 2 hours before me, so I never noticed how incredibly long he takes in the bathroom in the morning. Not to get ready, but to go to the bathroom and play games on his phone. Now that he works from home, he doesn't have to get up as early and usually gets up at the same time as me. We've got a master bathroom joining our bedroom and a smaller one with just a toilet downstairs. I always use the master bathroom to get ready in the morning since the other one doesn't have outlets for my hair tools and no mirror. I usually take around 30 to 45 minutes in the morning to get ready, so I get up an hour before I have to leave so I have enough time to do my hair, which is kind of important working at a salon. Well, ever since he started working from home, we've had some fights about bathroom usage. We both get up at 8. He immediately gets his phone and goes to the master bathroom, sits on the toilet, and plays games for at least 30 minutes, usually 45. When he's finally done, I have to rush to get ready so I'm not late for work. I've asked him several times if he could either use the bathroom downstairs or if he could go to the bathroom after I'm done getting ready, since he doesn't start work till 9:30, or just not play games on the toilet for 30 minutes straight. He told me he doesn't want to use the bathroom downstairs since it's cold down there, and he's got just as much right to use the master bathroom that I do, and asked me to use the downstairs bathroom instead. I would, but can't since there's no outlets and no mirror. He doesn't need outlets nor a mirror to just go to the bathroom and play games on his phone. I even suggested setting up a makeup and hair table in the bedroom, but he doesn't want that because hairspray would get on the bed and the carpet. Somehow, we weren't able to find a solution to this super simple problem, so I started setting my alarm 10 minutes earlier than him and just locked myself in the bathroom until I'm done getting ready. He's been using the bathroom downstairs since, and now only takes like 5 minutes to go to the bathroom because he's got no phone reception in the downstairs bathroom, and it's not as warm and cozy as the master. No floor heating in the downstairs bathroom. I honestly think it's a stupid argument, but he thinks I'm being a giant jerk, and that he has just as much right to use the good bathroom as me. He's been very passive-aggressive for the past few days and complains a lot about me locking myself in. It's a super stupid argument, but I kinda don't feel like I'm the jerk here. Like, what else am I supposed to do? So Reddit, am I the jerk? Edit. I didn't think our small toilet fight would blow up this much. Thank you all for replying. A few questions and suggestions I've read a lot. Put in a space heater. Really, no need to. I know my description made the second bathroom sound like a dodgy little outhouse, but it's just a small bathroom with heating, just no floor heating. It's the same temperature as the rest of the house. Just get ready while he's using the bathroom. I think it's amazing that you are so close and comfortable to do that, but I can't. Just remodel the second bathroom, put in XYZ. Not an option, unfortunately. We're renting, and our landlord is very, very fond of their very old house. So no remodeling or putting in anything permanent like outlets. I put a small carpet in front of the toilet now, hoping that his feet will stay toasty warm. Not the jerk. He's being childish and exhausting and forcing you to get up earlier than necessary because he's inconsiderate. On a side note, if you two want kids, he's absolutely going to be the kind of dad who suddenly needs 2 hours a day to use the bathroom, exactly when the baby needs care. Do not recommend. Not the jerk. He's disrespecting you on many levels. I wonder what he does for work versus what you do. It's almost like your job, as a stylist, isn't a real job to him. He can't understand why your outward appearance is so important to your job. What's more, everything about this is about his comfort. Let me break it down. He prefers to sit on a toilet for 30 minutes and look at his phone, his stench in the air, his feet warmed by the heated tile of the master bathroom. Putting on socks, slippers, house shoes, or a small rug in the second bathroom is simply too much for him. He is prioritizing grossly inconveniencing you rather than a minor inconvenience for himself. He's fine with you being in a bathroom that smells like fresh nastiness, but he's not okay with smelling perfume, hairspray, and cosmetics in the bathroom. That's just too much for him. He's fine with you getting up early. How nice. He gets to work from home, probably wear comfy clothes, and do a job that has a remote work option. You now have to wake up an hour plus before you leave with extra time added on because of his selfish behavior. And how long is your commute? How long do you stand every day? How is this guy so comfortable with his wife being uncomfortable? He has use of that bathroom literally all day. He's a massive jerk. He's acting like a baby. You should have priority because of your career and schedule. Am I the jerk for trying to alter the dress code at my in-laws' Christmas and saying I would show up in sweats? I have a bit of a complicated relationship with my husband's family. Mother-in-law claims she likes me, but I don't think she does. She also claims she loves and adores her grandkids, but will do pretty much anything to avoid spending time with them. As a result, the relationship is pretty strained, and we only see her for holidays and the occasional family dinner. I don't really like doing holidays at mother-in-law's house because it is so formal. Everyone dresses super nice, hair and makeup is perfect. Mother-in-law pretty much lives for this stuff. Despite the annoying dress code, my husband gets to see his siblings, my kids get to see their cousins, and mother-in-law mostly ignores us anyway. This year is our year to spend Christmas with the in-laws, and I've been getting annoyed about the clothing aspect for months. It just seems so silly to me and almost like a weird competition between the women in the family. I brought up the topic to mother-in-law, and she said holidays are supposed to be special and my generation is so lazy. That annoyed me, so I talked to some of the younger women who also have kids. One sister-in-law said I was ruining Christmas. One kind of agreed, but said it wasn't worth the fight with her mom. Mother-in-law called me recently and demanded to know why I was talking behind her back to her guests. I explained I was just trying to see how people felt about it, because to me, the formal attire is just another layer of stress and it's spiraling into some sad beauty pageant. I've heard mother-in-law make comments about how she has to look perfect because so-and-so is coming. Mother-in-law said it was tacky of me to ask around and I need to stop trying to change their family, and I'm so rude and entitled for thinking I get to make changes when I just married in. This ticked me off, and I said she can wear whatever, but I will be coming in sweats and my kids will be in play clothes. Mother-in-law actually laughed and said that would be my problem, not hers. My husband says if I do it, I will embarrass him, though I'm seriously thinking of doing it, and mother-in-law is still upset that I talked to her guests behind her back. You're the jerk. It seems as though you're looking for drama with your mother-in-law. You state she doesn't like you, but actually, you just don't think she does. Don't want to take her word about the love she has for her grandkids. Is that true, or do you just have an expectation of how you want her to act with them that is not being met? The fact that you talked about her to others, one of which straight up told you that you're ruining Christmas, and the other not wanting drama, makes you come across as bratty and whiny. She is putting the effort into a nice party for everyone, and everyone seems into the opportunity to have a chance to dress up and celebrate. But you do you. Wear the sweats. Make your point, ruin the relationship, end the party with your drama. Embarrass your husband. It'll be so worth it. Merry Christmas. Exactly. OP, you're the jerk. She said you could wear what you want. There's a difference between formal, nicely dressed casual, and then your childish thread of sweatpants. You would be embarrassing your husband and kids by making something so petty your famous last stand. It's every other year. We all get why she doesn't like you. You sound tiresome. You're the jerk. It's not uncommon for families to make a bit of an effort appearance-wise for Christmas dinner. Also, I don't know why you're surprised your mother-in-law thinks you went behind her back when that's exactly what you did. Not the jerk. If my mother-in-law were like this, I would never be around her. I'd tell hubby he can go to her little fashion show by himself. I wouldn't let my kids around her either. The woman sounds like she could have her own reality show. Please don't subject your kids to this woman's madness. Stop settling for being treated like dirt just because she's your mother-in-law. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her mother-in-law? Please let us know. Oh, how I love these stories about dramatic, petty first world problems. Am I the jerk for not letting my girlfriend's family know that I spoke Spanish? I'm 24, male, not Hispanic or anything. I'm white and was adopted by my parents when I was 5. My mom is Mexican, so I learned Spanish from her. I'm pretty fluent, and I guess that surprises people sometimes because I don't look the part. White, blonde hair, blue eyes, etc. Anyways, I've been with my girlfriend for a while who is Hispanic. Never mentioned I'm bilingual because the topic was just never brought up. A month ago, her family wanted to meet me since we recently moved in together. We did it through Zoom, safety and all. It was her parents, her grandma, because she lives with her parents, and her sister. Everyone was welcoming and nice. Her grandma was the first to say something in Spanish, and her words surprised me because she was literally so nice talking to me and suddenly switched to saying something else. ¿Por qué otro cuero? Why another white boy, pretty much. Then she asked, when can she set her up with one of her friend's nephews? My girlfriend told her to stop, then her parents did the same. A couple times during the convo, they switched to Spanish whenever making a comment about me. My girlfriend at least always shut down their criticisms and told them to stop talking like that. To be honest, I didn't say anything because I was curious what their real thoughts on me were. It kinda sucked that they were so freely talking about me right in my face. I finally said something when her mom mentioned my girlfriend told her I was in college and asked what I'm studying. Her dad commented to her grandma in Spanish, "Ah, no wonder he moved in with her if he's wasting all his money in school." See, the fact that we moved in together seems to be their hang-up with me. They're not happy we moved in and think because she works full-time and I work part-time that we did it so I can mooch off of her, which isn't even true because we split the bills for everything. So I answered in Spanish. We moved in together because we wanted to take the next step in our relationship and we love each other. Then I answered her mom's question. Also added that I have several scholarships that pay for everything, so what I earn goes to living expenses. They all looked panicked and right away apologized a million times for what they said. My girlfriend was shocked too, but she didn't have an issue with what I did and thought the look on their faces was hilarious. She only felt bad that I did know what they were saying all along and apologized. Her sister is telling us that what I did was petty and mean because I embarrassed them, that I should have said I knew Spanish because that was a conversation I wasn't meant to understand or be part of. Therefore, it wasn't my business to listen in. It's like I was eavesdropping to her. I get eavesdropping is bad, and they wouldn't have said anything if they knew I understood. So I guess I can see where she's coming from. Was I the jerk for not saying anything? Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.